Hey guys, welcome back to War Room. Wanted to take a quick minute today to talk to you about something that I really enjoy and I don't see a ton of in games. And that's props. Now, I really love the idea of props in games, especially not just like regular Nerf stuff where we have, we've talked about flags and timers and things like that, but especially in games like HVZ. I feel like it really adds an immersive element to the game. It really gets players excited about playing. Now, I know there's a couple of different things here and there that I just wanted to talk about, like getting things and making things for cheap, because I know that this is already it's not the most expensive of hobbies, but it's not the cheapest either. So, you might see me come with different segments on things I've made or making things specifically for props. But it's just really being creative and thinking outside the box. I've gone to Savers or Goodwill, and I found a lot of stuff at those places that's really cheap, even the dollar store, that I've been able to repurpose for stuff like this. Now, here's a really good example of like an awesome find. These are actually night vision goggles. I know they're not like, oh, super awesome night vision goggles. They're pretty basic. You could probably buy something like this for relatively cheap. But, I got it for $3 at Savers. It's really cool because now if you have the humans going on a mission where they need to find night vision goggles to get some sort of perk or bonus, you can have them find these, and it's kind of cool because it's something they could actually use. Now, I realize I'm not telling you something you can go and buy and find every single time, but before I found these, I found just a pair of really cheap, I think they were spy gear binoculars or something like that, didn't even really magnify that well, but I painted them up and made them look kind of cool and futuristic. And, you can do the same thing. So it's really thinking outside the box, using stuff like that. And if you need to find a lot of things or you want a lot of props, you can always go a different route. If you don't have time even to, make something or, doctor something up, repaint it, make it look interesting, you can definitely go with something that's unique and different. I have a video that I recorded a while back, and I apologize, the audio is not great, which is why I wasn't going to use it, but unfortunately the props that I'm showing off in it, I no longer have. They're stuff that we picked up at the dollar store for really cheap because we wanted a lot of props for people to be able to find on missions and collect and then, turn in for a perk or something like that as sort of a side quest going on with their main objectives. So I'm going to shoot that here for you, or play it here for you. Again, I apologize about the audio. This is a while ago, so hopefully it's not too bad. I'm going to try to crank it up, and hopefully you can understand it, and it's not too quiet. But, if you turn up the volume a little bit, you should be good. But yeah, like I said, I'll probably be back at some point in the future showing you maybe stuff that I've made or ideas or how to do things on the cheap. If you have anything that you've done, definitely let us know in the comments below. This is going to run a little bit long, so if you've already got the gist, go for it. If not, and you want to stay and see some of the like weird kind of things that we implemented for some other stuff, like I said, that we got cheap at the dollar store, didn't modify it at all, but it was just like, hey, here's something different, and it's not just really easy to reproduce, like grabbing water bottles or something like that. So here you go, guys. Thanks. As always, stay safe, have fun, stay creative, and happy tagging. Hey, everybody. Welcome to War Room. This is Josh. Today, I have a fun little bag of goodies for us. Now, we've talked about props before, and these were things that we had considered using for props that were really cheap and really easy to sort of implement. Now, what we wanted was we wanted to have quests for a HVZ type of gameplay that you could find things while you were playing to unlock certain things. So, for instance, you didn't start out with the ability to use melee weapons. Instead, those weapons would be basically collected. So each round, if you could collect so many, let's grab these. We had these placed out, and you had to collect spring steel, right? Which is these obviously cheap little slinkies. They kind of look like springs, and they're large enough for us to sort of hide them, but people to find them and bring them back. And if they collected so many, they unlocked so many swords for that for the next round. So basically, that's kind of how all of this stuff worked. It was just a really cheap and easy way for us to find things. This was some sort of, I'm trying to remember, mutation that, a canister that they were trying to find that had like DNA in it or something like that. And there were yeah, 5 of these that they were trying to find in a round that we were going to hide. There were these little Rubik's Cubes, which, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. We have like 15 of these guys that were supposed to be for zombies to actually find, because we wanted zombies to have some sort of interesting side quest to do aside from just tagging humans. And they were trying to find these, and these were to allow them to transform, because they're Rubik's Cubes, so they change, right? And they would go around finding, and there were a ton of these because we figured that zombies had a little bit more of an advantage as far as being able to just meander around the field and sort of look for stuff. So they had to find more of these than the humans did, like the spring steels. But so stuff like this is just something to consider. We got really cheap from the dollar store, and it was really quite easy to implement into a game. It was stuff that's not too small, so you're not just getting marbles and hiding them around or something like that. It's large, and it's unique enough to where people aren't just going to be able to have these on hand. Like, most people aren't going to say, oh, I've got one of those in my car, let me grab it and take it back to base so I can get a sword or something. You know, it's something that's very unique and individualized that they're going to be able to find relatively easily and have sort of fun doing it. So it's sort of that that seeking type of quest where they've got to find these while at the same time surviving and doing whatever the main objective is. So it was sort of a side quest that we had going on. Consider stuff like this. It doesn't have to be anything the same. We went with things that were shiny specifically so they kind of capture the light and draw people's attention to them. They don't have to do that. We were playing during the day, so you know, at night maybe you consider something that glows, or you know, maybe you paint something with some glow-in-the-dark paint, so that's an option for you. But yeah, stuff like this for sort of that hide and, or not hide, I'm sorry, just the seek quest and find this as a side thing was a lot of fun. Consider implementing something like that in your games. If you just need something to be found that denotes like, oh, go and find this thing. Well, I don't have a, you know, nuclear reactor, but it just, hey, this is what's going to double as that. You could easily just grab a water bottle or something, and that's fine too. But, you know, if you do that, consider writing on it or individualizing it, making it so that people aren't just going to bring a water bottle from their car and dump everything out and say, oh, look, I found the thing we were trying to find. You know, spray paint it or put something on it so that you know it's yours and they found the correct one. That's what was sort of fun about these. They were just so different that people were kind of like, what is that? Oh, okay, we got to find these things. So, yeah, guys, just something to consider. Like I said, these were super cheap at like the dollar store. You could get stuff from the flea market, dollar store, wherever you can find some cheap props that are really easy to sort of small and you can scatter about, but people are going to be able to find without having to dig through things too much. They're not too small. So that should do it, guys. As always, stay safe, have fun, be creative, and happy tagging. Woo!